Did we change the camera battery over? I think I did. Oh, what the hell I'm doing here? Why are you clacking? Right, those days, take two. Take two. You couldn't just play a one-verse song, could you? Faster version. Or a heavier version. Just so I don't have to play for so long. 32 verses. I mean, I like them long, but not in the state I'm in. I can't see the photos of my children on the camera. All of that. Okay, so this is called Those Days. There's a story of my life and beyond. Remember those days when the sun always shone? Such joy in my heart that could only come from beyond. My soul was emancipated from all of life's pain. A love that will endure when nothing else remains. The violets were blooming and the nightingale sang. I could start off a sentence and then let the words hang. You knew what I was thinking, your smile told me so. Those days are so blessed, I will never let them go. I'd stumble barefoot down many a dark street. You don't really lose if you don't accept defeat. I sang in injustice's face all night long. Those days all I needed was a stage and a song. I knew tender lips and learnt they could speak lies. I heard closing doors echo vague replies. I gazed out on the scenery of life's rich tableau. Those days I went where the breeze chose to blow. I met new allies down every beaten track. Some went where I wouldn't and they never came back. You can have all the cards, but the house always wins. Those days no one cared where the ending begins. I saw heartache and hatred from the first days of my youth, and I turned every one of them into a poem of truth. And I never surrendered when nobody seemed to care. Those days I walked where angels would not dare. Fortune ignored me when I held her down. Kisses would reward me, then say get out of town. A plateau could be a dungeon, only later you knew. Those days my calling card said just passing through. I slept on cold steps, huddled up neath the moon, listening while inside sinners ransacked the room. I had a smile to defend me from jealousy's assault. In those days they tell you it was all your own fault. I've dined at banquets and I've known famine's touch, and when it came to love, things didn't change that much. If there's despair in the air, you're gonna breathe it in. Those days whittle your dreams away till there's nothing left to trim. I've been paraded in chains on bleak twilight nights, falsely accused, and nobody read me my rights. Every judge I faced had a black cap on his desk. And back in those days, I could not care less. I drank from bitter waters and I sipped the sweetest wine. Even when the well was salted, I said it tasted fine. Every time I put my marker down, someone had been there before me. Those days I opened battered doors and whispered you were born free. I strode on burning coals in the capitulation zone, reassured the destitute, you are not alone. When no one looks you in the eye, it's a sign that something's planned. Those days I stared them down and put black coins in their hands. The self-acclaimed scorned me when I walked past their table. They knew who I meant though when I talked to them in fables. The holiest choir often sings the darkest psalms. They fear for those days when you say I know who I am. Every place that I left, I never returned. There's no hiding from the chances you've spurned. You only learn your mistakes with a view of hindsight. Those days, everything seemed to be black and white. I dueled with swordsmen with a rapier pen. Even if I went down, I got up again. If some master's hand existed, it had a clenched fist. Those days I learned I was not on heaven's waiting list. Everything I own, someone said, that's not yours. When you find someone win, someone's adjusted the scores. The silence is loudest, the aloner you are. Those days I learned a kiss leaves a scar. You don't know what deep means until you confront your soul and you realize that in your own life you have little control. Wounds never heal when they're inflicted on the young. In those days the invisible choirs had already sung. I know there were times when I had bullets in my tongue. I lost sight of my targets and let fire on everyone. You can never run fast enough to escape your past. Those days I was joking, now the devil laughs last. Most faces I saw had a mask painted on. I knew whose visage was true, but when I got there, they'd gone. I put flowers on the graves of the dawns I won't know. As I recall those days, it was a life like a traveling show. There came a time when I grew sick of it all. I watched Jericho pillage when I blew down its walls. Its innocence ravaged on the harsh, dusty plain. Those days I swore no, never again. As the hours crawled by, I raced ahead. I cast hope to the gutter and I left it for dead. I'd given alms to the poor until they were rich. And when those days had elapsed, they left me to starve in a ditch. When I came to a dead end, I kept pressing on. I was curious to see what lay just beyond. I'd been up and down, but never right or left. Those days it didn't matter if I had one more breath. I never saved the memories, they're better left gone. Everyone was an orphan, the place I came from. The mayor's wife told me I can sell it if you'll steal. But even in those days I knew a corrupt deal. I booked into a hotel with one in the chamber. I met someone there, I don't want to name her. No prayer was ever answered, not in peace, love or war. Those days you'll find what you're not looking for. I had many amuse and most made me weep. They'd ransacked my emotions when I was begging for sleep. They took no little delight in seeing my tears. Those days they paraded them as cruel souvenirs. I had my shield up, but she pulled it away. You've been hiding too long, the smile seemed to say. Why live in the debris of hubris and hate? Stride after those days before it's too late. A route opened up through the fronds of the mist. Kindness can knock you down faster than a fist. You're only out of options when you're afraid to choose. And those days are the ones you're guaranteed to lose. I pulled up some jasmine, handed it to her, ran my hands through her silken hair, and she did not demur. When no words are needed, you're speaking the most. Those days I recall exercising the ghosts. Fate spun its wheel and I let the ball roll. Every wave hits the shore beyond all control. We danced in the moonlight and watched our shadows meld. Those days bore a love that could never be felt. The morn that you came, I was born too. The meaning of life came clear into view. Whatever I acquired, I needed no more. Those days took the padlocks off of every door. The time that we spend, we can never replace. So treasure each moment and keep them all safe. Your smiles and words are etched deep in my heart. Those days, they might be done, but they'll never depart. I've been clambering on rocks in a hurricane's thrall. Now the storm has silenced and I see clear it all. What does it matter what I've been through? Those days are the ones that led me to you. I just wanted to keep going. In case you're wondering, I not only have braces down the back of my legs, but I've got them in my ankles as well. And one of them's just snapped open. Oh, God damn it. Yeah. No. Give us a lift, though. Emily, we're not the only ones that are crawling. You start out crawling on all fours. Take it from me. That's how you finish up as well. Now, Emily, here's a lesson for you, okay? If you ever get to see this. So very well playing the keyboards, but you can't use keyboards as a crutch. God bless guitars, huh? Oh man, why is that camera so far away?